Gentlemen, Monroe Mann here, back with returning special guest, this guy over here, Shannon Potts, gentleman who I spent some excellent time with in Iraq as a soldier with the United States Army. He's also a firefighter and now a veterans' rights advocate. And so, good to have you back, Shannon.
Thank you. It's good to be back. I had a good time last time.
I said the first thing we're going to talk about is how Trump is winning so much, but why do you have a girl's name? Because everybody I talk to goes, oh, you're having a female soldier on, and my mom goes, oh, who's the Shannon girl that's going to be on your? And I have to explain to her, no, it's a guy. And is it something abnormal? Like, is it very rare to have a guy's named Shannon? Or like, what's the story behind your background?
Well, I think back when I was named Shannon, there was more. It was kind of up in the air, I guess. I mean, in other words, obviously, if my mother knew that it was going to be a girl's name, so to speak, she wouldn't have named me. But back then, I don't think I'm 50 years old. So back then, I think the name was not in circulation. So there's a question as to the interpretation of it. I guess it's named after the river in Ireland. So is the river male or female? You tell me. But I'll just remind you of people like Shannon Sharp and other famous Shannons that are male that do exist. And, I can't help it if all these females have my name. It's unfortunate, I guess.
I understand that. I've had the name Monroe, again, for 47 years. And about 6-7 years ago, Mariah Carey had a daughter and named her Monroe.
Yeah,
and so I meet people now and go, oh, you have a girl's name. I'm like, I'm 40 years older than Mariah Carey's daughter. No, she has a boy's name. So I understand, because I have a name that kind of can go both ways too now. Yeah. And I did not know that you were named after a river in Ireland. So where is the Shannon River? Does it go all the way through?
Somewhere in Ireland. I think it's in the center, more or less. I'm not super familiar with the geography of Ireland, but yeah, it's there somewhere. It's a very significant river. I think it might be the largest river in Ireland, actually. I'm not sure.
Well, we're going to ask ChatGPT. Let's what's the point of having ChatGPT if you can't bring it up on a live stream and ask? Tell us more about the Shannon. All right, so ready? We've got 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Waiting for it to load. Can you tell us more about the Shannon River in Ireland and give us some really interesting facts about that river? Let's see.
The Shannon River is the longest river in Ireland, stretching about 240 miles from its source in County Cavan to where it empties into the Atlantic Ocean. It has played a crucial role in Irish history, culture, and transportation for centuries. One fascinating fact is that the river forms a natural divide between Ireland's east and west, historically acting as a barrier that influenced settlements and battles. Vikings used the Shannon.
Oh, sorry, I cut it off. But apparently, Vikings used the Shannon
for something. Probably for trade and raids. I imagine that's mostly raids. Probably.
You kind of look like a Viking. I could see you with a little hat with horns going up on either side.
That would be awesome.
I think awesome. on the next time, you cannot come on the live stream again unless the next time you come and I want you to dress like the Canon Shan. We'll call you the Canon Shannon.
Oh, ouch! I don't know. That's a little bit touchy subject there.
I don't know. I want you wearing horns. I want you wearing like a fur, maybe with a battle axe.
Maybe I'll get something. Maybe I'll do it my way. How about that? I'll get you something. I'll get something that's unique. How about that?
Uniquely Viking. Something that links your Viking looks, the name, which is named after the Shannon River in Ireland, and we need to increase the entertainment value of what we are doing. Hello, Jamie. Nice to see you. I haven't seen you in 5 or 6 days, so I was getting worried about you. I have no way to. Well, I guess I do have your email address technically, but did not want to use the email address that I obtained from a sale on my YouTube store for personal communication. That would be a violation of trust. But if I didn't hear from you in like 3 or 4 days, I was going to email you anyway. But so Shannon is back now. Shannon, as those of you guys who don't know, Shannon was in Iraq with me, and lately he's become a veterans advocate. I don't know specifically what exactly he's advocating. I'm hoping it's to give every veteran named Monroe $10,000 a month in tax-free income. Am I on the right track? Is that what you're?
I'm pretty sure that's the first thing on the platform.
So
If it's not, we'll have to add it.
Once you fight for that, the $10,000 a month from Monroe, what is the next thing that's on your agenda? And like, why did you come to become a veterans advocate? What are you trying to do?
Well, I'm trying to earn money or solicit money, if you will, get donations, because I want to start a nonprofit group for what I call Group 4 veterans. And I'm not really an advocate yet. I'm kind of an advocate in training, if you will.
Okay.
I've been talking
So
to people.
You're in AIT.
Yeah, AIT.
Which for those who don't know, AIT in the military is Advanced Individual Training, which is what the enlisted folks go to after you finish boot camp or basic training. And so I just made a little clever pun there.
Very
so anyway,
clever.
He's back
Army
in the AIT.
Yeah, so I've experienced some problems in my own employment, and I guess I would say that I'm a victim of workplace discrimination based on my military status or service and disability associated with that. And what I found is that there's really nobody to help you. There's laws to protect you, but ultimately those laws, it's upon the veteran to enforce those laws in order to get, to sue.
Yeah, I was just talking. I've been going to the VA about getting my disability rating increased, and I'm working with the Florida Department of Veterans now and seeing what I can do. And I kind of agree with you. I don't think the federal government does enough to help veterans. And there are a lot of different programs, but 9 times out of 10, you've got to work your ass off to get any of those benefits. And it's a slog. And it's almost like you have to go to another deployment, another combat deployment once you come back home just to get these supposed benefits that are created for you as a veteran. And it seems like what you're trying to do is do something like that, saying that a lot of times veterans fall through the cracks and they're not, either they don't know how, or they're not able to, or somehow the government is letting them down in some way, shape, or form. Am I on the right track in what you're trying to do?
Well, I would agree with you that the programs that exist that veterans are entitled to can be difficult to navigate and can be intimidating. That's the first thing I'd say. But specifically, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to help people that are the victims of discrimination, typically in their workplace, but it could be elsewhere. Veterans who are discriminated against. And basically, if I can indulge you, I've got like 5 different groups that I've identified. I don't know if you want me to talk about that in depth. I don't want to
You're
change the
saying,
flow of your show, so to speak. But
no. As I said, this is perfect. Let's address some of these comments first. And I'm happy to go in as depth as we want. We just got to, again, keep it light and keep it entertaining. And I'm going to try to make it funny along the way. So let me just look in and see some comments. Jamie said she hasn't been feeling well. You're still alive. I'm happy to hear that. I hope you go beyond still alive and feel better very, very soon. Because I got to tell you, Jamie, these live streams are not the same. Not only you haven't been here, but V has not been here either. And it's been wonderful. I had 140 people when I did a Billy Bob 2 nights ago. 140 concurrently. Right now we got 10. Just massive numbers of people. But V and Jamie weren't there, so I kind of felt like the celebration was missing something, because I was hoping that you guys would be able to be a part of that. Navy Camlishan says, thanks for your service on behalf of both of us. We say you're worth it.
Thank you.
We're very happy to serve. Pavel says, hello from Russia. Dobro Prajalovic, great to have you. Welcome. Family is Navy and Marine. Very cool. Not as cool as Army. We're both Army, but we appreciate the Navy and Marines as well, of course. Jamie says they absolutely do not. I agree. Christian says they don't do enough to help themselves. So Christian, I don't know if you're a veteran. I'm not a lazy person. You look at my background, you Google me, Shannon's laughing right now. I am probably the most productive, accomplished people ever to have served in the military. And I cannot get things done as a civilian through the VA sometimes, and getting certain benefits that quote unquote we're entitled to. I hate the word entitled because it's become so politically charged recently.
Negative association.
Negative association, but people who are veterans, they are entitled. They put their lives on the line. Shannon and I could have died, and we both have medical issues and to some extent mental issues because of what we went through. And thankfully, Shannon and I are not nearly as severe as some of the people that I was served with, and I'm sure Shannon can agree. But
I'm okay. I don't know about you, Monroe.
I am not. I'm still suffering. I'm still suffering. So Christian, I agree in most situations, people don't do enough to help themselves. But I've met so many veterans at the VA who have tried to move mountains to get things happen, and they're constantly denied. Their appeals are denied. No one's responding to them. I've contacted Governor DeSantis, has not gotten back to me. I've contacted Senator, who's the senator from Florida, Rick Scott. I've emailed him. I've left voicemail messages on 4 of his office voicemail messages. No one gets back to you. And I almost want to give a big F you. I mean, DeSantis is a veteran. Why don't you have an office? I mean, he has the Florida Department of Veterans Affairs, I guess, but I only found out about that by accident at the VA when someone said, oh, you know, I was working with the Florida Department of Veterans Affairs trying to increase my disability rating. And I was talking to them going, I don't understand why you're helping me, because it seems like there's a conflict of interest because you're trying to help create a claim for me, but you're sending it to the same government, the same Department of Veterans Affairs. That's their mission is to deny you. I said, how can you possibly be working for me? I had to go there 2 times before I finally put it together. I go, wait a second. I said, let me ask you this. And I'm a lawyer. I'm not stupid. I'm a competent attorney. I said, do you not work for the VA? Because when I was in New York, there was no New York Department of Veterans Affairs at the Bronx VA. And I'm thinking, and they said, no, we work for the state of Florida. I said, could you have told me that? Like the first day that I came in here, when I was having these arguments, like, how can you be advocating on behalf of a veteran? Logically, it didn't make any sense. And I realized it's because they were not working for the VA. And so I realized that they have nothing to do with it. The VA just gave them office space in the VA hospital. I'm a lawyer. I'm smart. I'm accomplished. I'm a kick-ass negotiator and contract attorney. It took me 3 visits talking to this office. And you could say, well, maybe you're an idiot because you didn't ask the right questions. You know, when you're at the VA, you're assuming that everyone there works for the VA. I mean,
you don't know what you don't know.
You don't know what you don't know. And so I think what I'm advocating for, and why I invited Shannon to come on and talk about what and we're going to talk about the 5 different type of veterans he wants to help in a second, is and here's the other thing, some people, and this is not just veterans, you'd say, God helps those who help themselves. I agree with that. But some people have been through so much, and I talk about learned helplessness a lot. And there's a TEDx talk that I did at Jefferson University talking about I was at NYU, about learned helplessness. Sometimes you've just been through so much that you need a helping hand. And you need someone to just say, brother or sister, I know what you've been through. Let me give you a hand and pull you along. And I wish there were more organizations, and we'll talk about this because there is an organization that's helping me dramatically. And any of you who are watching are veterans, I want to share this with you because they've been helping me a lot. And anyway, so let me just catch up in the comments. They don't do enough. Hello, Monroe. Flora from London. Trump is going to make things better, says Samuel. Navy camouflage. My family holds the government responsible for what has been happening to our military veterans, active and retired. Who else can you hold responsible but the government? I'm saying this with respect. You're exactly right. Exactly right. So we're going to take a pause on the comments for a second. I will go through all of them. I want to go back to special guest Mr. Shannon Potts, fellow combat veteran from Iraq. What are the 5 types of veterans that you feel you want to help?
Okay, well, I don't necessarily want to help all veterans. I do want to help all veterans.
He
but
said it. He said it. He does not want to help all veterans. It's now here forever.
I'm focusing on what I would call Group 4 veterans. Okay, and I'll explain why. Because all veterans deserve some assistance or another. In theory. Okay, but you have your Group 1 veterans, I call them. These are your veterans that are.
No, wait. Are these groups that you are categorizing? These are new groups that you're creating, or this is like a military designation?
No, this is categories that I've identified. Okay, looking at the situation, because my own problems have caused me to take a step back and be like, okay, I'm just one guy. Typical military. You're like, it's not enough just to take care of yourself. You got to find a better solution. You got to improve the situation. So what good is it, if I help myself, but I'm not helping my fellow veterans? In fact, that's what this is all about. This idea that you don't leave anybody behind. That idea is like ingrained in my soul from my experiences in the military. You don't leave anyone behind, and to the extent that we're leaving people behind, that's not acceptable. But these Group 1 veterans are the severely disabled, severely injured as a result of their service.
Okay.
And by the nature of their injury, they tend to rightfully elicit a strong response from others. Okay, it's obvious that they have significant problems as a result of their service. The government tends to help them. The various organizations tend to help them. These are your wounded warriors, if you will. And there's even the Wounded Warrior Project, right? That's a group that helps people like this. Your next group are those veterans who unfortunately have your second group have run afoul of the justice system, whether it's the civilian criminal justice system or the military criminal justice system. In other words, something bad happened and somehow they ran afoul of it. Now, perhaps they've just done wrong, and that is what it is. But perhaps they're being unfairly treated and being blamed or something. And these cases tend to draw a lot of attention. There's a lot of attention because there's high stakes. We're talking about people going to jail, facing significant penalties. And what I found is that if there's a case of somebody, potentially, they have, by the nature of the seriousness of it, they tend to draw support when there's some sort of claim to be made in their defense. And one of the groups I found that helps with people like that is Eddie Gallagher's Pipe Hitter Foundation. Eddie Gallagher was a SEAL, and he went through some troubles. And then coming out the other side, he formed, I believe it's a nonprofit to help people who went through similar sorts of circumstances. So that's good. The third group is the group that a lot of people know. I know from my 30 years in EMS, these are people who have served and then getting a lot of feedback from somewhere. I'm not sure where that's coming from. They've served, and then can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. They've served, and then after their service, they've run into problems meeting their basic needs. Perhaps they have substance abuse problems. Perhaps they have problems finding stable housing. They might have problems with keeping jobs or finding work. They may suffer from straight poverty. They may be on the streets. There's a lot of veterans who come under this heading, and there are a lot of resources to help these people. But the veteran has to be willing to accept the help, which is sometimes an issue because sometimes there's mental health issues involved as well. And it's important that these people get help, and it's important that there's elements of society and the government to help these people. So I'm not discounting how significant that is because there's a lot of people in that boat. Okay.
So let me just summarize so far. We have Group 1, who are the severely wounded veterans.
Correct.
Group 2 are the ones who are run afoul of the criminal justice system, either military or civilian.
Yep.
Number 3 are those who are struggling to readjust to civilian life.
Basic needs.
And with basic needs. Group 4 now?
Now, Group 4 is the group that I fit into, and Group 4 is the veterans who are able to function in society fairly well. They don't really have any significant problems. They're just like your average guy who's or gal who's making their way through the world. But unfortunately, at some point or another, they run into some sort of discrimination based on their military service or based on their disability associated with their military service. And then you've got a real problem because the laws exist to protect these people, but there is no government entities that are going to help you. There's no programs that are going to help you. There's no service organizations that are going to help you. You're on your own, and you're going to have to get a lawyer, and you're going to have to pay the lawyer a lot of money in order to.
So you're telling me that in these Group 4 veterans,
Mhm.
if they need help, the VA will not help them. Disabled Veterans of America will not help them. Foreign Legion will not help them. Is that correct?
Not in my experience.
Okay, and can you give us an example, either in a summarized version, or maybe give us a few examples of people who would fit into this Group 4 category? Like
Sure.
how could you identify somebody who's in this veteran, U.S. military veteran in this Group 4 category?
Well, let's say you have a job and you work hard, and maybe you work harder than other people. Maybe you work harder than other people because you're focused on the mission and it's your military training. And maybe you do a better job because you're all focused on the job. And maybe other employees are not happy that you're making them look bad, or something along those lines. In other words, if you're a veteran in this category and you keep your stuff together and you don't create a lot of problems, if somebody wants to cause you harm, the only thing they really have to work with is your veteran status. So it's very easy to say, oh, well, this person is a crazy veteran guy, crazy army guy, or something along those lines. You see what I'm saying?
That is me, though.
But are you really? Are you really? Because maybe you have some mental health issues related to your service, and certainly it's well within the realm of possibility that that's the case. Because I mean, you're exposed to all sorts of things that are rather unpleasant and difficult.
I think I'm
you seem to be
partly naturally crazy, and I think that's what encouraged me to enlist in the military in the first place. Because
Okay.
who goes to the military unless there's something wrong? I don't care how patriotic you are or how selfless, or I did it to serve my look. There are a lot of people I've met who wanted to serve their country, but they were sane, quote unquote, to go, I'm not going into the military. Are you crazy? And I go, I guess I am. I am crazy because I did join the military and you did join the military. I think it takes a little crazy to join the military, to become an entrepreneur and start a business, to get married. And you're married, so you're double. But maybe I'm crazy for not getting married and staying single. But there's an element of craziness, I think, that gets you in the military, and I think there's an element of craziness that the military could potentially exacerbate. It can exacerbate the craziness that got you into the military in the first place.
I think, for instance, in my case, what I took out of the combat zone was hypervigilance. When I came back, I thought that somebody with PTSD is somebody who is doing very dangerous things, is crazy, engaging in really reckless behavior. And it took a long time to understand that being constantly hypervigilant is a significant sign of post-traumatic stress.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, when you're scanning the rooftops and doing other things like that years after you came back from a combat zone, that's not something that most civilians normally engage in. Things like this, you see what I'm saying? And everyone's heard the stories about veterans who, when they hear a loud noise, react to it. And
You know
stuff
what's
like
crazy?
that.
You know what's crazy? My hair, I don't know if you can see it, but the hairs just went up on my legs and my arms as soon as you said loud noises.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you said it, I remember that. I don't know if you remember. Were you at Fob Danger when the car bomb exploded near Charlie Company?
I I can't tell you. Oh yeah. I know the one. Yeah, we were right on the other side of the gate.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean that was
we dove for the door. Yeah, that was very loud.
100%. I mean,
Yeah.
all of it. I was in my. This is back in my tighty whitey
Yeah.
days. I was wearing
Yep.
my tighty whities, jump out of bed, and grab the rifle. I mean, it shattered all of. Did it shatter all the windows at where you guys were?
The one I'm thinking about, we were right on the other side of the gate, and the concussion wave came right through the wall, and we all dove for the because we were right outside the building, and we were in the process of, we had just arrived, and we were walking into the building, and that thing went off, and it was a big deal. But
Yeah,
that was,
I don't know if the one I'm talking about is the same one, but
it
there
might
was
have
a
been a
car
different
bomb
one.
that
Yeah.
went off right where we were on Fob Danger. We didn't live up. You know where headquarters was?
I'm
Fairfax.
talking about the one. I'm talking about the one that was up by the north gate.
The one that's right near Charlie Company.
You're talking about the main gate then. What you're talking about?
You know what? I don't even know. I don't remember. All I know is that it was like whenever it was in the morning, and it shattered all the glass in the entire small building that we had like 4 rooms in, and all of us were just like, "What the, And but anyway, that stuff like that, and mortars and other types of explosions, they still resonate with me.
Yeah, I can't even talk about. There was one incident that I can't even talk about with this format. I look at those things that happen to us as being like routine, almost things blowing up and stuff like that. But there was an incident that happened that's at a different level
Now, why can't my
altogether.
YouTube channel blow up like all those explosions in Iraq? I need the channel to blow up real big, Shannon. So you guys can make that explosion happen by clicking like, by subscribing, by checking out, by becoming a paid member for $3.99 a month, youtube.com/Monroe Mann/join. By the way, this is a very good, fun segue. We've got the Super Board for February. We got $50 so far. Mr. Good Cat is currently the king. $5 he gave. Big Kev tied, but he did not dethrone Mr. Good Cat. Anybody who gives, this is a new thing that Good Cat and I came up with. Whoever, actually, I have to kind of circle it real quick. I'm going to put the crown. There's the crown. Mr. Good Cat is the crown. So whoever gives a higher super chat during the month of February will get the new crown. So anyway, just thinking about blowing up, an explosion. There is a positive side to it if it happens to your YouTube channel. So
that was a clever segue.
By the way, what's the website? We'll keep coming back to the topic this night. What's the website that people can go to learn more about your organization and what you're trying to do?
So I created a crowdfunding page. So and it's at fundthefirst.com, fundthefirst.com, and it's a first responder and military site, if you will. And the name of the site is Workplace Justice for Veterans. And
Your website is workplacejusticeforveterans.com.
no, it's Workplace Justice for Veterans. That's the name of the crowdsourcing site on fundthefirst.com.
Okay, so the website is Fund the First, and first is spelt out FIRST.
I got a sheet of paper here I can show you if you want.
Yeah, put it up here. It may be backwards or in reverse. I don't know. Let me see. I can see it. There we go. Fun. You know what? Bring the QR code up real close.
Yeah, going the wrong way.
So I don't know if you guys can maybe pause this later and come back, but you can grab that QR code. And I'm looking there. It is where's the website now again? Fundthefirst.com. Is Fund the First a crowdsourcing website?
It is. Yes. It's like GoFundMe. Similar to that.
Okay. So fundthefirst.com, and then you have to search on their workplace justice for veterans. Is that right?
Right. In New York State.
All right. So guys, I'm going to be putting a link to this out on the description for this video later tonight or tomorrow. So you'll be able to get that link later as well. Let's look at a few more comments. Navy says, my family holds the government responsible. That's right. I hereby salute all military members, active and retired. We give you a salute back. Shift says this stream is weird. It's only weird because you're here, and Shannon and I are here because collectively we're only, individually we're kind of okay. We're on the border, but the two of us together, it guarantees a lot of weirdness. At least we're not a puddle pirate or chair force, says Navy Camouflage. What's a puddle pirate? I've never heard that before in all my years in the military.
I'm not familiar with that one.
So Navy Camouflage, tell us what a puddle pirate is.
I know what the
Jamie is. I popped in, but you were ending the Billy Bob stream. Didn't want you to feel like you had to keep going. Jamie says, I don't think any veteran should have to struggle once they get home. It's inexcusable. I agree. And I do think there is a big difference between veterans who served in combat and those who did not. And or veterans who served in some aspect where they were exposed to something that I don't want to take away from the veterans who joined and who were ready and willing, but and I saw Shannon shaking his head like this. Do you think all veterans are completely equal?
Don't make any mistake. Some veterans are bad people. That's straightforward.
No, I don't talk about bad people. Just talking about combat veterans versus veterans who served but didn't end up.
I don't know. I don't judge. I don't know what they went through. Okay, all I know is people. Nowadays people volunteer to serve, so they volunteered. What they went through, I don't know. At what point they experienced what. I can't judge, but my sense of duty is and loyalty is that if you were in uniform, then automatically I have my assumption is that you're a good person, or that
you signed up to go to combat if you were so ordered, type of thing.
I would hope so, but it's for me. It's not about necessarily what happened to you as so much as is that your willingness to serve. I think that's significant, and obviously, on the other hand, if people who have had more things happen to them definitely should have more resources available to help them. There's no question about that. If you served, you didn't do anything, you never went anywhere, whatever, then you can't expect.
I get maybe it's not so much combat zone. It's there needs to be a system sort of along the lines if there's 10% disability up to 100%. There needs to be a certain, like, you get more benefits based on the more that you went through.
You do. That's how the VA operates. But anyone who serves has my respect. Until they give me reason to doubt that. So
here. Walnuts is here. Good to have you here. Tropical says veterans are entitled. You earned it. Thank you. Appreciate you gave yourself for the greater good, says Tropical. 22 a day. Never forget that. That's true. I've heard that. That statistic that 22 veterans a day take their own lives, which is a terrible statistic. Michael Ramos, 20 years U.S. Air Force. Thank you for your service. Demore says you can ride mustache with no handlebars. Interesting. Frost says, can Shannon see the chat? I think he can, but
I only see little bits of it. And
do you have it set to all or top?
I don't know.
So Pavel says, you're a good person, Monroe. I believe you. I wish you good luck. Sorry for my bad English. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Michael Ramos, the VA hospital has been my advocate. When I passed out, incurred $65,000 in medical bills and vet services, covered every penny. That's fantastic. I will say, being a veteran it does put you into a special group. And one time in New York, when I had to call the emergency room and the ambulance came and they didn't take me to the VA, they took me to the local hospital, and I got massive military emergency room bills and ambulance bills. And I wrote to them and said, look, I never used the civilian system. I'm a veteran. I didn't want to come to this hospital. This is where they took me. And they eventually covered everything for me on my behalf. And I appreciate that.
In my experience, the VA, I was pleasantly surprised because I had heard bad stories from years ago. And in my experience, I was really amazed at how well the organization worked. Like he was saying, that $65,000. I didn't have that happen to me, but that doesn't surprise me that they covered those expenses, and that's
Yeah.
good.
But you know the thing is, I think the problem is that they have all. Look at this. I got this book. I was at the VA the other day, and I found this book. Let me see if I can find it right here. Look, 2024 Florida Veterans Benefits Guide. But guess who makes this?
Florida veterans.
Florida. It's not made by the VA, and there is such a. I mean, look at this. Look at all the benefits that we get. One-time dental treatment.
If you know how to access them.
Yeah, and it's like I didn't know I got a one-time dental treatment. Oh,
Mhm.
free benefits and disability claims. Oh, education. Oh, a pension. I was just thinking. I was talking. I feel like when you join the military, you should immediately get assigned a counselor, and that counselor follows you throughout your military career and your post career. And if that person retires or whatever, that they follow you. I don't know. What are you smiling because you don't like my idea?
It might be a little difficult to implement. No, I think that it is a good idea, and I think the internet has made things better for people to know what potential benefits are available for them. But
It is, but you still need to like jump through so many hoops. Like, literally, the federal government has every bit of information about you and me. Everything. Why can't someone from the veterans call up and say, "Hi, I'm from the VA. My job is to go over with you for 2 hours every single possible benefit that's available for you this new fiscal year, and would like to help you get every single benefit that's available to you." It's almost like there's no one at the VA who knows every single benefit that's available. You have to piecemeal it all together.
so you don't have like a veteran service organization that can help you? For instance, like in New York, they have like county level veteran service organizations that can help, and they also have organizations
I don't
like
know. I
the
mean, I have now. I'm working now with Florida veterans because I found their office at the
yeah.
Miami VA.
It
But it
sounds
seems
like
like
they're a
the only
VSO.
thing that they're helping with is disability claims. They're not helping with, like, hey, we want to help you get that VA home loan. We want to help you get that dental treatment. Hey, did you know that there's additional educational benefits even if you used up your GI? I mean, I have to find everything, and it's sort of like, come on, I'm exhausted. I don't want to. I already went to war. I served my country, and and everyone's talking about Hegseth now, and good for him. He's Secretary of Defense, this and that, and this and that. Why isn't there so much excitement? Who's our new Secretary of the VA? Why can't we get a rock star who's Secretary of the VA? It's like the VA is not on Trump's radar, and I always feel like it's always like on airlines. If you are active duty military or disabled, or do you have children, you can board now. Excuse me. The only people who get a benefit are the people who are currently in the military. How about the people who were there for 20 years already and are the ones that gave these airlines the freedom to operate in this amazing country? And it's like I'm as angry as you are in a way. Like, I want veterans should get so much more than they are given. And on that note, I'm gonna throw it back to you, and you get a little bit more about what your feelings are about helping veterans.
Well, boy, we never talked about the fifth group, and I don't,
Fifth group is the whiny veterans like Monroe. And that group of veterans, we do not want to help. I get it. Okay.
No. You said it, not me. But the fifth group are those veterans who after they leave the service, miss the camaraderie and brotherhood, the fellowship that they experienced.
That's me, 100%.
Right, and you could probably benefit. But the good news, Monroe, is that there's a lot of organizations that exist that can help you regain that brotherhood and fellowship. And I'm thinking like the American Legion and the Veterans Wars VFW.
There's actually the VA, when I went to go see, a career counselor and life counselor, whatever. So I'm slowly kind of getting involved with the things that the VA is offering. He invited me to this meeting on Friday in Doral, which is about 30 minutes from here, on Friday. And apparently it's the organization that either Pete Hegseth founded or was the president of for many years. And he said it has nothing to do with the VA, but it's just a bunch of veterans getting together to help one another. And so I'm going to go there on Friday and just kind of see what connections I can make or this or that. And but it's a nice feeling. I mean, even just you and me just talking on here, it makes me feel comfortable
Exactly.
talking about stuff that you and I have been through together. And it's like, okay, cool. Here's a guy that, and again, you found this too. It's almost why I love going to the VA. You sit down. I talked to some Vietnam vet and a Korean War vet. We're not in the same wars, this and that, but we completely understood each other. And it was already like, thanks for your service, thanks for yours. Oh, how long were you in? Oh, what was your MOS? Oh, what did you do? Oh, no kidding, you did that. Oh, wow, blah blah blah.
Yeah. Sorry, somebody tried to call me and I got cut off there for a second.
You were talking about that's the fifth group of veterans, the ones who missed the camaraderie.
Yeah, and I feel like I've been talking to an organization called Clear Path for Veterans in upstate New York that helps veterans, and one of the things they do is help veterans get together and do events. So that's pretty cool. Also, in my neck of the woods, there's an organization called Southern Tier Veteran Support Group, and they help those veterans in the Group 3 category a little bit. But I don't think that veterans, for me, talk about the camaraderie. That was really important for me to find my way forward, because basically in my situation, I did what I was supposed to do, and then I found myself in some difficulties where I was accused of doing things that I didn't do, if you will. And that really caused me to question why I had bothered in the first place, doing the things I was supposed to do all my life. And eventually what I realized was that the path forward was to go out and try to turn the bad thing that happened to me into something good for other veterans, if that makes sense.
100%. It's why people start not-for-profits all the time, is to right an injustice.
And here's the thing about my situation. What I realized is I need money to help me with my lawsuit. But the good news is that money, my lawyers inform me that if I win my lawsuit, which I assume I will, that those legal fees are legal costs can be awarded as part of a judgment, which means any money contributed to my case can come back and then be reused. And my plan would be to take. I can't help myself with my own nonprofit that I'm looking to start. Okay, that's against the rules. You can't help yourself. If you start a nonprofit, you got to help others with it.
I'm a lawyer and I run a number of not-for-profits, and that's not true.
Well,
you cannot. We can talk about this later, but I'll tell you just to understand the laws. You cannot create a not-for-profit for this explicit reason of benefiting you and your family.
Okay.
At the exclusion of others. But if you are creating a not-for-profit to help a class of people, and you happen to fall into the exact same class of people that you are also helping, there is no law prohibiting you from also benefiting from the same services that the not-for-profit is also providing to others. I have Break Diving. It's a not-for-profit that I've started. I'm also, it's open for everybody to join. It's a community at breakdiving.io. It's a personal growth community. We help people around the world improve their happiness, success, and friendships. any of the programs that are offered to the members is eligible. I'm eligible as well. So
Okay.
we have scholarship funds. If we create a clear list of requirements, if someone from Zimbabwe or San Diego meets that requirement, then they get the scholarship. If I meet the requirement, I can apply for the scholarship too. The whole
Okay.
issue is, again, well, why are 99% of the scholarships going to Monroe? That's a problem.
Yeah.
And like,
That's the
why did
problem.
you
That's the sort of
decline
thing
the
I'd want to
scholarship
avoid.
to all these other people?
Right.
Right
So,
now, all the scholarship money has gone to other people, and I have not used any of it. But it
wise.
doesn't mean that if I needed to, and I meet the criteria. I tell you this, and it's important for you, but also for anyone watching. There's a lot of mischaracterizations about not-for-profits. There's also a mischaracterization that you cannot have a great living or you can't pay yourself. And 100% you can. The executive director, the person who runs New York Philharmonic, makes like $1.4 million per year, not for
Well,
profit. So there is nothing prohibiting you from making a lot of money if you are, as a not-for-profit leader, and or benefiting from the not-for-profit, as long as you're not starting the not-for-profit solely to benefit yourself. So in your
well,
situation, you may have to maybe you have to. This is a whole other
let me,
discussion, but
let me,
you just got to write the mission statement very, very clearly and make it
well,
very clear to.
I have a simple solution, and that is money contributed to the lawsuit now will go to the lawsuit. When I recover those funds after I win the lawsuit, I will then take that money and put it in the nonprofit. Will exist.
And that is completely fine, and you could structure that different ways. You can
Yes.
have a donation agreement, or you put that on the Fund the First website description and saying, and
I,
I'm happy to. And I'll tell you this: the one thing that gets people, while we're talking about raising money, uh, for Shannon, you can go to fundthefirst.com and search for workplace justice for veterans at Fund the First. Well, I wrote this book on raising money called Trust, and TRUST. If you search on Amazon, it's Trust Monroe Mann, which is clever because it's how you find it on Amazon, but it's also the truth. One of the things that you need to do is assuage any fear that your potential investors have that you're a swindler, that you're a fraud, that you are a charlatan. And so, just advice for you, Shannon, and anyone who else
yes.
is raising money, make it very clear on that website. This is exactly how the money will be used. This is how it will be this, do that, do that. Keep it as general as you can so you don't get pigeonholed, but keep it specific enough that people have a paper trail and could, quote unquote, come after you and sue you, which is what you want. You want them to feel very comfortable knowing that there is a very clear contract and that there's a very clear use of the funds. And if that you don't do that, you get in trouble. And anytime I raise money, I will say, you guys can come and sue me if you want, because I'm not going to do anything improper with the money. And if there is a lawsuit, I'll win as long as I show you the paper trail. So this is where the money was spent, and this aligns precisely with what I said during the fundraising on the website.
And that's why my goal would be to have zero overhead and to keep my hands off the money altogether. There's no if money's being used, I understand organizations have costs, overhead costs, but if you can keep that to nothing, then that means that money's going to help the cause that you're trying to help, right? Help the people that you're trying to help. That would be my goal. So, but we do, to be clear, we don't have a nonprofit formed yet, but
And just so
it's
you
our
know,
intent to do so.
you can raise money for a not-for-profit cause. Uh, Generally, before the not-for-profit is raised, but they cannot. If it is eventually given not-for-profit status within 1 year, they can then take a tax deduction from it, but only after the tax exempt status is granted by the Internal Revenue Service. So, for example, if people decided, if you're making it clear that you're going to apply for not-for-profit status, people can give a donation now, but they cannot then declare immediately that it's a tax deduction because it's not a tax deductible, tax exempt entity yet. But once it gets approved, and by the way, for those of you who are wondering why I'm giving this, I'm a lawyer, as well as being a veteran. And so I'm doing my good job of doing some pro bono work here by helping my friend Shannon here put together his not-for-profit here on this live stream. But guys, just so you know, you have nothing to fear with this guy Shannon. I would trust him with my life. I essentially did because we all trusted each other with our lives in Iraq. I will also say trust but verify. So don't take my word for anything. I'm just telling you, this guy is someone that I would trust. But you are your own business. You're the CEO of Me Inc. Go look at the website. Go to fundthefirst.com and search for workplace justice for veterans. You can read all the details about what he's doing and what he's raising the money for. And then you decide, does this seem like something that I want to invest in? Does it something I want to support? Do you want to add to that, Shannon?
I don't know if there's anything to add to it. I have noticed some comments going on, Monroe. That,
there's a lot of them. Let's
seem kind of deep, so I thought maybe we should address.
Yeah, let's jump into some of those. Michael Ramos, someone says someone dropped the mic. Oh wait, no, oh my God, there are a lot of comments. Wait, there we go. Michael Ramos, all vets that come to our comedy club will get in free. Michael Ramos, I would love to do a 5-minute set on open mic night. Let me know where you are. I'm ready to do some top-notch comedy for you, and we'll include some military jokes in there as well. One of them is the fact that joining the military was fantastic. I got an all expenses paid trip to the desert, and it was amazing. Okay, Carter Strang. Nobody. I was cutting ghost chilies. Then I went to the bathroom. Now I'm sitting in milk. I don't know what that means, but thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Brainbug is in the house. Charles Columbus. My name is Chuck, and I'm gay. I'm gay too. I'm as happy as can be because you're here on my live stream. Walal, hello. Great to see you again. Good to have you back. Brian is saying, are you playing pocket pool with your mic? Somebody was. And I think that was the noise from before. You're saying I hear interference. Carter Strong says, are you going to do a study hall tonight? Yeah, Carter, I'll probably be doing a study hall on the break diving channel. It's another channel. It's for my not-for-profit. And by the way, Shannon, you should probably make a YouTube channel potentially for your organization. That'll help too. So then you could start spreading the word, making videos. But yeah, you guys, anyways, want to help monetize a channel and or get stuff done? We do these study halls where I put on YouTube Live on the break diving channel, BREAKDIVING. The idea is don't wait for opportunities to float to the surface. Break divers dive in and make their own big breaks. So V Pirate, wow, V Pirate's on the super board. He gave his 2 months member only message here. Why is my door open? That was weird. Okay. All right. We're going to put this on here. We've got V Pirate. All right. It was the 2 months. Yeah. So I want to give a shout out to V Pirate. I hope he doesn't mind. But V Pirate's father passed away this morning. And it makes me a little sad, actually, just because I'm, think about my dad, too. V Pirate, I'm crying for you, my friend. Ooh. Because it's so hard when you lose someone that you love. V Pirate is a fellow veteran. And just know that your father is so proud of you, looking down at you, and he's going to be guiding you for the rest of your life. And Shannon, maybe you could say a few words to Marcus, aka V Pirate, while I collect myself.
I don't know what words to say, Monroe.
What would you say to someone who's just lost his or her parent?
Very sorry for your loss. It's very difficult. My father died 2016, and I think about him every day still. So, but Yeah.
Life is crazy stuff. And when your parents die, it really makes, it's a big wake up call. And it's just, life just becomes very, any loved one, you lose anyone loved one. It could be just a close friend too. So I'm sure all of you have experienced this, or you will at some point. Very, very tough. I remember a year after I got back from Iraq, there was an Iraqi, we were training the Iraqi soldiers, the Iraqi army. And I got word that one of the guys that I had been training the whole time ended up, getting killed. And it's always tough. And anyway, Marcus, I'm with you, my friend. I'm with you 100%. And as Shannon said, no words. It's such an awkward thing, and it's so difficult to say, I'm sorry for your loss and this or that. But just want you to know we're with you, and your dad is still with you, and he's looking down on you. And you did such a great job caring for him. We saw how wonderful a job you did caring for your dad. And I'm glad you were able to spend his last days with him, and he was able to spend his last days with you. And I'm glad you're still a part of the channel and a member here, and supporting me and me supporting you. All right, moving on. Okay. Walal, hey Carter. Angel says hi. What's up in Germany? Walal says you're a lawyer. Whoa. Yeah, I'm a very emotional lawyer. Can you tell? Things hit me sometimes. But when I saw a psychologist for a while when I was in law school, and he told me up in New York, he said, Monroe, I have never met anybody who feels emotions as strongly as you do. And he said, you feel sadness more than anyone else, any of my other patients. He said, you feel empathy with other people's plights better than, like, more than anyone else. You feel excitement and joy more than anyone else that I've ever met. And you feel depression more than anything. Like, it's like you've got this range of emotion. And you know what? When I was in acting class in 1999, after I graduated college, this casting director, I took a class with him, and he cast all these famous movies. And he said to me after class, he goes, Monroe, you have a range, like an emotional range of someone who's like 60 years old. And you've got I don't know how you have this ability to just make us feel And so anyway, I know I get emotional sometimes on these live streams and I cry. I don't even care. Like, to me, it's just me connecting with people and realizing I've been through it, and I know how tough that feels. And it reminds me of when I saw President Trump, when he signed the Laken Riley Act just recently, and he brought Laken Riley's mother up onto stage, and she was just thanking President Trump. And Laken Riley, of course, was the nursing student in Georgia who was killed by an illegal immigrant. And you could see the emotion. Laken Riley died a year or a year and a half or whatever earlier, but going up there and speaking, it brings back all the emotions, and I could feel her pain, and I could feel her pain again. And so that's just seeing you, V Pirate, it brings me back the loss of my father, and solidarity, my friend. James says hi. V Pirate. Let me see. I'm sorry to see Violetta. There you go. Yeah, I'm sorry. Walal said my dad died when I was 6 months old. And you know what? It's such a strange thing, Shannon. It's like you say, the grass is always greener. Like, you always think it's someone else has got it easier. And for a moment you think, oh, when someone's dad died when he was 6 months old, well, then Walal probably doesn't remember his father. And you think, oh, and bear with me as I'm talking. Let me finish my thought. I'm saying for all of you, don't judge me based on what I'm saying immediately. Thoughts going through my mind is like, oh, how in some ways he's blessed because he doesn't have to go through the pain of getting so close with his father and then losing his father. But the flip side of that is Walal never had the opportunity to experience what it was to have a father. And I'm sure his life was very difficult, growing up without a father. And Walal, if you want to share in the chat here, I'd love to share that comment with a little bit, like, what was it like growing up without a father at 6 months old? Wow, unbelievable. And I remember this girl in high school. She lost her dad or her mother when she was, I think, a sophomore. Were a sophomore, and I it was hard for me to contemplate back then. But looking back, like, how high school is such a tough time for all of us. And I just think of Shannon. Shannon has kids who are sort of that age. God, how tough it must have been for her to go through the loss of her mother in high school. And we think, Marcus, you're basically my age. And same thing with Shannon. Terrible that all of us had to suffer the loss of our fathers, but that's life. And that's how life should be, where the parents die before the children. But still a tough thing. Any thoughts, Shannon, that you want to chime in that based on what I'm talking about, or do you want me to carry on to the comments?
I just noticed a couple of these comments. So I would have to say personally, in regard to Walal's situation, I'd rather have I'll take the pain of having to experience the loss of my father as an older person, I guess you could say, because I also had the opportunity to appreciate what he gave me. So, but also I saw Bex said that she was sending a virtual hug, and that's what I would offer V Pirate, is that hugs, because that would be my natural instinct if he was here, to give him a hug, because I mean, what else can you say? I mean, hug what's the word I'm looking for? Transcends everything else. So, yeah, it's it's a heck of a thing. And just kind of a segue, not really a segue away, but just a aside. When you volunteer as a military member, as a veteran, this is the sort of thing you're risking. You're risking that you're not going to come home to your kids, and that they're not going to know you. Whether they're 6 months old, or whether they're 18, whatever. So it happens to us all. We all die. But the risk that these people are taking, service members, is they take this in stride. They take this as part of the deal. So it's a thing, I guess you could say.
I would say they take it as part of the deal. I don't think they take it in stride, because I don't think anybody is prepared for the deaths that are more likely to result from a career in the military than from any other potential career. And I think a lot of people in the military try to be tough guys and try to give off the impression that nothing phases them. And in some ways, as someone who's also an actor, I kind of have I have a tough guy part of me, and I've got a very emotional softy part of me because of that. And I think people in the civilian world, I think, need to be tougher, and I think people in the military need to soften their demeanor at times. I think maybe what do they call it, emotional intelligence. Right. I think more military people need emotional intelligence, and more regular people need some military hard-ass discipline or something like that. I think everybody can, comes to the basic lesson: everybody can learn from somebody, and we all have ways that we can improve our lives. Walal is 24, right? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I just saw this comment from Jamie. It says that I worked with a lady who lost her 19-year-old son in Afghanistan a couple of years ago. I can't imagine. Yeah, I can't imagine either.
It's really, what's interesting? It's just a side topic, but I have the loss of my father on one hand. On the other hand, I have this loss of this lake house up in Maine, and that was in my family.
I remember
and,
that.
And I've been thinking about this all the time, and I'm just bringing up because we're having this conversation. I don't think about my dad every single day and cry and be miserable and, oh my God, Dad, I missed you. Like the loss of the lake house in Maine. Again, I'm not crying every day over the lake house either, but like I have bad dreams about it 4 nights a week.
Are you telling me that you miss the lake house
Yes.
more than you miss your father? Is that what you're telling me?
In some way, it's like I'm trying to figure this out, and yet, like I was just crying earlier because of my dad. So that it's clear that I miss my dad more. But the loss of the lake house is having such a terrible effect on me, and I've been trying to think about it. I think it's because I feel like I let him down in
In
that.
regards to the lake house?
Yeah, because like he worked so hard and was so financially successful that he was able to buy that with my mom, and I feel like I let my mom down
By not being
because
able to hold on to it?
yeah, and it like I know it's not my job. My mom says, Monroe, this wasn't your, if we can't afford it, we can't afford it. I should have done better and this and that. But I still feel like as the man of the family, the final man, Mann. My last name is Mann, the man of the Mann family, and I thought that I'd be like a movie star by 25 and a rock star or an entrepreneur 30 under 30, all that stuff. And it didn't happen. It could still happen, but nothing will bring back the loss of that lake house. And it wasn't completely financial. There were some other things that we was just on top of everything. And I don't know. I just mentioned it's funny because why do I have bad dreams about the lake house? I don't have bad dreams like thinking, oh, Dad, I miss you. And waking up going, oh, curse the world.
I don't know.
I'm not asking for any advice or thing. I just find it very interesting to think about the way the brain works. And it's what's the lesson from this? Constantly, if there's something bothering you and you have dreams about it or this and something doesn't seem right, like it's not the lake house that's bothering me. I mean, Janetta
Right. You
made a
got to
little.
explore it. You got to explore it and find out what it really means.
It
Right.
has
I get
nothing
that.
to do with a lake house. It's a
I'm
physical
glad to hear
house.
that.
There's something else that's causing some chaos in my psyche. So
Mhm.
anyway, and you guys need to fight through that. V Pirate says he was fighting cancer since September, so it's a bittersweet day. We cry because we miss him already, but we know that he's no longer hurting. 100% love that. Angel is just giving lots of prayers. Walal asks, do you have a GoFundMe, V Pirate? So V Pirate, maybe that's something you could put together. I know people do that to help with funeral costs and things like that. And let's see, my mom is stressed about money, but I told her I'd pay for everything, says Marcus. I'll figure out a way to take care of everything. Good man. But again, don't be a stoic. Don't go into financial ruin and stuff like that. People do this all the time by creating a no GoFundMe to help with some funeral costs or whatever. And let's see where my grandfather is not going to make it much longer, says Violetta. He's blind, skinny, can't smell or taste much, can't walk well, in and out of consciousness, and he thinks it's 2016 right now. I'm going to make a joke, Violetta, and I hope you don't. It's in honor of your grandfather. Sounds like Joe Biden. No. Shannon is laughing over there, going, unbelievable, Monroe. Violetta, we certainly are wishing your grandfather very, very well. And you're part of the family here, and your grandfather is as well. And I also wish Joe Biden the well as well, because I know what he's going through mentally, in terms of having gone through that with other family members, and that's very, very tough. He's 96 years old. He's had a good life. I'm ready for him to be okay again in heaven. Well said, Violetta. Doctors say he'll be gone by April. All I can say is doctors say a lot of things. Be prepared. Hope for the best. Prepare for the worst. And some people. Who was it? Oh, a guy that I was in Iraq with, Mike Hafke. Sergeant Mike Hafke. He said it's okay for me to share his name on because we talk a lot. He's supposed to be a guest on here eventually. he had medical issues, and doctors kept saying he's got 6 months. 6 months. It's been about 10 years. And he's still going. He's still going and getting the treatments all the time. And he's just every day blessed that he's still here. So you never know. Violetta, assume that you need to take advantage of the time that you have left. Do whatever you can. Ask your grandpa things that he wants to do with you, or anything that you could do for him. assuming that there's not enough time, but you never know. Maybe it'll be a lot longer than you think. A physics student, a long life. Monroe, I wish you were my mentor, says Walal. I am your mentor. You get two for the price of one right now. You get Shannon and you get Monroe. Monroe makes questionable jokes at fans' expenses here. Shannon rolls his eyes and goes, "Did he just say that? Are you serious?" Pirate, it says my father's funeral is on the 15th. Monroe, you're invited to come play. I will certainly look at the calendar and see. Send me a text. Let's see what I can do. Christy is saying, "Hey, handsome, I'm back." Wow. Oh, you look so good today. Wow. Thank you very much. Look at that. Beck says, "Hi, so sorry for your loss, V-Pirate." Beck's lost both parents. Truly feel for you. Nothing brings them back. Please think of only the happy memories. Hear, hear, Bex. Shannon, is your mother alive? Yeah, she is, right?
Yeah, I take care of her. Yes.
Oh, sorry. That's right. That's right. Well, we're wishing you many happy years with her moving forward as well.
Thank you.
Brooke knows the pan. Sorry for your loss, guide. Hearts go out to you. Bex, grateful that you could be there in those final moments. Agreed. Brooke says, from someone who has BPD, is that Brooklyn Police Department? Let's see. It's a blessing and a curse. I don't know. Oh, bipolar disease. Aha. It definitely gives me a different outlook on life.
I think he said borderline personality disorder. I think that's what he was
Oh,
referring to.
okay, that's interesting because it could technically be bipolar as well. But bipolar is not a disease, so I don't know why it would. But okay, good. You said it was borderline personality disorder. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Let's see, getting overwhelmed, having the emotional attachment to carrot. Walal died without having a house in Africa, and he knew 6 different. Oh, he died with having a house. He had a house. Your dad had a house in Africa. I think every dad should have a house in Africa. Shannon, you got to make that part of your 2025 to-do list. I want to be a dad who's got a house in Africa like Walal's dad. And he knew 6 different languages. Pretty impressive. Beck says, I about lost my mind after both of my parents were gone. You have to force yourself to focus on the positive. Bex, I'm curious to know, like, how did you get through after both of your parents go? I don't know if you're in my situation, but like part of the reason why I feel like I'll be more sad, I think, than most in some way, and I guess it's comparison. I feel like a lot of times people who are married and have kids, maybe the death of a parent is a little bit easier because it's not as if you're totally alone. And I'm not comparing, and I do not know, but I don't know. Like I'm kind of hoping like I get married and have kids before my mom passes, because at least I'll feel like I don't talk to my sisters anymore. My uncle died in 2018. I mean, I don't have a family anymore. I used to have this huge family, like huge, and now it's me and my mom. And it's really awkward, and that kind of what makes me feel funky. That I'm a single guy, don't have kids, not married, and my mom is my only family. Walal's mom doesn't speak English. Okay, well, Walal says he died because he was smoking too much. Well, that is good. That's a good lesson for all of us. And Walal, if you smoke, I'll be very disappointed. You let us know. Bex has lost so many people, some to suicide. I'm sorry to hear that. Trying to focus on the positive. I try so hard. Keep it going. That's all we got to do. Because I really wish YouTube would tell me how many more comments there are, because it doesn't tell me. Let me see if I can scroll down. Okay,
I think you're pretty far behind. That's my impression.
No, I think I just scrolled down. I'm getting towards the bottom.
Okay.
We're getting towards the bottom, and then we'll jump back to special guest Shannon, who will say, "I'm never coming on this live stream again." Monroe cries on the live stream. Monroe insults people's grandpas. Monroe, Angel says, it was worse for me. My friend was killed in a car crash last year. She was 16 years old. I want to just remind all this is not a depressing live stream. It's important to talk about these things. And what Shannon said earlier, we all go through this. And it's a crazy part of life. I had 2 of my best friends die one was when I was a freshman in high school, and one when I was in 6th grade or 5th grade. Both of them were really, really tough for me at the time. And I was so distraught at the death of Pete Sears when I was in 6th grade. I was so sad. I'm looking back, trying to think. Like, I didn't go to his funeral.
That was your friend in the 6th grade?
Yeah, in 6th grade. And it was so weird. He moved away from Portchester, New York, up to Trumbull, Connecticut. And I was so like, don't move. You can't move. It's not good. And literally like 4 months after he moved, a boulder, he was playing behind his house with his brother, and a boulder came loose that they were playing on and crushed him.
Oh boy.
Very, very sad. And that was tough. I didn't even know. I didn't even like understand death. It was so like such a weird thing when you're that young. And again, Walal, I don't even know if you understand. Like at that age, I mean, our brains are working. I think deep down somewhere there's a memory of that. I feel like your memory there's some memory of your father. But anyway, just a thing that I like. We have all this stuff throughout our lives, but it's almost somehow different the older you get, because you're starting to realize that that's happening to you soon too. That you're gonna die. Like, have you thought about that? The fact that you are getting closer to death, like more so than you did back when you were in Iraq.
More so? No, I mean that's you know, it's always been there. It's always been there, you know. So, but yeah, it makes you want to do more, right? It makes you want to make sure your affairs are in order, that you take care of the things you want to take care of, so that you never know when your day is going to come, when your moment's going to come.
Yeah, it's. I always remind you guys, it could be tomorrow, and you have no idea what it could be. You could get hit by a bus. You could get rear-ended. It got nothing to do with you. Look at those poor people on the plane in D.C. in the Black Hawk helicopter. They were 2 minutes from landing, and family were there, and this and that. Life is very capricious and fickle, and I hate the word precious. I don't want to say that. It's very delicate.
You have to excuse me. I'm laughing because I saw Jamie's message just popped up.
No, that's fine. That's fine. And also, I've realized I'd rather have you laughing than doing this. I'm going to do the impression of Shannon. Here's my impression of Shannon. Did you just say that, Monroe? Oh
You
my
know,
gosh.
it's you know, you got a hard thing here. You know, you got to recognize people's situation and where they're at emotionally, but you got to do it on a screen. You know, so it's like, how do you do that exactly? You know. So,
It's a tough thing. It's a tough thing in
yeah.
person. It's even harder on a screen when you're only reading people's text messages.
Yep.
V Pirate says, I learned something interesting about my dad today. My mom said he told her that he doubted his faith at one time. He asked God to show him Jesus on the cross if it's real. He had a vision. He saw the whole thing as if through his eyes. He wasn't a man to say these kind of things or lie, so I believe him. I've heard many stories of like that too. And hope he's up there with Jesus right now, having a game of tennis or golf or something like that. Tensai, hello. Let's see, there are no words to make it better. Violetta's here in the house. Walal, Monroe, do you have kids? I do. And there are 7 of them on the live stream right now. And I want you to know, I hope you're saving up for your college funds, and don't do drugs. By the way, I just read an article today, and I've known this I've never done marijuana in my life, and I've hated it my entire life. I don't like mind-altering substances for recreation, and I've never liked the idea of marijuana helping as a medical treatment. And all these people say there's no side effects, no side effects. They just came out with a new study, an extensive study, that shows that extensive use of marijuana repeatedly, like for those who use it recreationally hardcore, or those who use it every night to quote unquote ease their pain, significant memory damage and brain damage. It is actually destroying your brain. And on the flip side, if you truly have pain, they just came out with a new FDA approved medication, non-opioid. So an opioid is something that comes from opium, and some of them are like hydrocodone. And the problem with that is they're very addictive to some people. which is so strange because I've had hydrocodone many times after my operations on my knees and whatnot. I hate this stuff. It makes me, and this might be why I don't like alcohol and why I don't like drugs. Like literally, I don't like feeling
Out of control.
out of control. And hydrocodone makes you kind of feel woozy, just like alcohol. But some people apparently like that feeling, and hydrocodone becomes something they like. Well, now they have painkillers, non-opioid, and they say in studies, double-blind, placebo, all that stuff, as equally as effective as hydrocodone, no addiction possibility. And that is mind-blowing. So I'm hoping that if any of you are watching or anyone who knows someone who uses marijuana for painkiller, it's called Jordavex or something, or Jordavix. There's a link I put on my X account. Anyway, that's my thoughts about that. I don't know why. Where did I go off on talking about painkillers? No idea. But military and first responders. V Pirate was military and federal law enforcement. Bex, my mom lost all of her kids, 4 of us, before she passed. Wait a second. You're one of them. That doesn't make any sense. With all due respect. My mom lost all of her kids, 4 of us, but you're still here writing on a live stream, so she couldn't have lost you. So please clarify before I give you pity. V Pirate, Monroe, do you think you can make it here by the 15th? I don't have the funds to come out to Texas and whatnot like that. Talk to me on text message. I certainly don't have the money to just go out to. I don't go to people's weddings when they invite me because I don't have the funds to just fly around and stuff like that. But send me a text message. You got my text, and we will talk. Let me see. No kids. Well, Al says so. No on the kids. Yeah, I have no kids. Well, Al said Joe Biden. Hi, ha, ha. Sorry, had to get that out. Let me see. Are we getting towards the bottom? Darlene Owens. It's been a while. Great to see you. Good luck, Pirate. Carlos Fierro. When was the last time? Okay, let's get rid of that message. That's just disgusting. Well, Al, good. I'm glad you never smoked in your life or drink. Carlos, there they go. Jamie gave a super chat in honor of Shannon's stellar mustache. Now I know why you were laughing. You know, YouTube changed it. It used to be as soon as there was a super chat, it would boom, kind of like the GIFs, and show up on the chat so that everybody would see it and I would see it and I could comment it. But the way it is now, I can't do it until I get down there. But Jamie, great to have you back on the board. I'm glad you're doing well. I was concerned for you more than I was concerned that you were not on the super board. $1.99. What was it? Shannon's muscles.
Mustache.
Oh, was it mustache?
It's my mustache.
Mustache. I was gonna say, how can you tell about his muscles? How can you see his muscles just from? Okay. Let me get some more comments here. I don't want to have kids in today's age. The world is a wonderful but mostly horrific place. It's a sentiment I've heard a bunch of people share. What's up? MPG website says, "Oh my gosh, shave." Must be talking it to you or me because of my 12 head. And all right, Nick says, "I'm jokes, walnuts, Monroe. Your friend looks like a Delta Force guy. Serious unit vibes." Well, on that note, Shannon is sort of Delta Force.
No, not quite.
But he was pretty close. Well, tell everybody what you did.
What did we do? We did a bunch of stuff on the ground. Let's put it that way. Boots on the ground. So,
in other words, he was the shoe shiner. He was the unit shoe shiner.
Shiner.
Because that's his way of saying I dealt with a lot of boots on the ground.
No, not quite.
So tell us a little bit more.
We tried to protect routes. One of the things we did was we tried to protect routes from people who were trying to blow people up by providing security. by watching and doing things like that. That was one of the things we did.
So I stand corrected. I thought you were shoe shiner. I'm not right all the time. Let me see. I'm jokes. Your friend looks like a Delta Force guy. That's right. If he looks like a Delta Force guy, what do I look like? Like what unit? What unit do I look like? I would be a part of finance, accounting.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Nick says, "I'm sorry." Okay, these boots are made for walking. Says Walnuts, and that's just what we do. Jamie says, "Come on, Shannon, tell the class what you did." Laughing out loud. Wallal says, "Hey, Monroe, catch you later on the break diving account. I'm saving my homework for when you're live in that account." Sounds good. Walnut says, "I look like I would be in the Space Force." That's not bad. I could see myself piloting a spaceship.
Are you trying to say you're a space cadet? Is that?
What's funny? It's like space cadet sounds like such a negative thing. It means like you're
Well,
like.
Space Force. They must have like space cadets, right? I mean,
I guess they are space
I don't know.
cadets now.
I don't
right?
know. I don't know. Maybe they probably don't use that term. It's probably got a negative connotation.
Yeah. Now it's a. Now it's an outer space cadet. How you doing, Burger Sleuth? Burger Sleuth always comes in, says hello. The second message is something about Jesus, and then the third message is something else. So we're waiting for your third message, Burger Sleuth. That is, Jesus is the truth. He is real. We all sin. Angel
Are you
says,
saying his
what?
first message is always about Jesus? Is that what
No,
you said?
first message is hi, Monroe. Second message is about Jesus, and then the third one is about what's going on in the live stream that he or she really wants to talk about.
Oh,
So,
okay.
but he has to get out his proselytizing at first.
Is that how you say that word?
Proselytizing. I, as far as I know, unless I'm pronouncing it wrong, proselytizing.
That's what I thought it was, but I don't know. I see it written
I don't
sometimes.
like proselytizing because it sounds like prostituting, and I don't think I want to associate those two words. So he's proselytizing.
Very different. Very different. Okay.
Unless it's prostituting. No.
No.
All right. So Burger Sleuth's third comment was hi, Jamie. So that's really why Burger Sleuth came here, is to give some shout outs about Jamie. Walnuts. Burger, I'm a sinner who's probably going to sin again. Lord, forgive me. Lord, forgive me. Oh, man. All right. So now I want to switch gears briefly. Do you mind talking about politics for a little bit? You don't have to say anything that makes you uncomfortable, but I want to talk about it with a fellow military person.
What if I disagree with your politics?
That's
you know what they say? They say they never talk about religion. What is it? Politics,
religion, or Monroe Mann. Because those three things are very contentious topics.
Yeah, there's just a wee bit of contention in the political situation right now. Just a slight bit there, I think. Maybe.
Well, let me ask you, are you as excited as I am with the pace at which Donald Trump has been following through on his campaign promises, or do you think he's moving a little too fast for you, Shannon? Or no comment?
Wow.
Again, I don't want to. If you don't want to talk
I have
politics, you don't
concerns.
have
I'll put
to.
it that way. I have concerns. Let's put it that way.
You have concerns. Okay, I have concerns he's not moving fast enough.
Okay. Well, that's the great thing about this country. We all have the ability to express our views. Hopefully.
Is there anything that you feel that he is? What can you say, if anything, that you think he's doing well, and what in general are you concerned about?
To be perfectly honest, Monroe, I tend to speak from the hip, if you will, and that's I really don't know at this point. It's like the media is you really don't know who to trust or what to believe at this point. And it's a sad and scary place to be.
Do you say you don't know who to believe on both sides, like everyone in government? You're unsure.
Yeah, and I really don't. I just you just don't know what's happening, who's telling the truth, and what the ramifications are of the actions being taken. What actions are being taken? I mean, really, what do you know? all you know is what you hear. What do you
Yeah.
actually know? What have you actually seen? You see what I'm saying?
Well, I have a direct line to Donald Trump. I don't know if you do. And we play golf once a week at the Palm Beach Country Club. No, there are some perks to being YouTube's #1 live streamer. He knows that he can access an audience that he would never reach otherwise. But you make a very good point that even though supposedly we have more access to what's going on based on what Elon Musk is sharing on X, what the press secretary is sharing, which is more than the press secretary from Biden's administration was sharing, even though it's more information, again, do we know for sure that that is the truth? And I'm not talking about with Donald Trump, I'm talking about with any government. How do we know if what we're being told is the truth? And it's a valid question. I think it's important we as citizens constantly question. I see on X a lot. I don't know if you're on X or this or that, and I'm on there a little bit now, and I keep seeing like everyone's writing X is the news now. X is where you get the truth. And I keep saying, no, X is another place where you get information, and like everywhere else, half the time it's incorrect. And you should not be. And I see people reposting things all the time, and I go, no, that is not actually what happened. No, this photo has been digitally altered. Look, there's a pig in the back. This is clearly a cartoon type of thing. So anyway, I agree that you have to be careful about where you get your information. So I'd urge everybody to distrust and be skeptical of anything that you hear until you can corroborate that with additional evidence. Shannon, is that good advice for people?
That sounds pretty good. Yeah, I agree with that.
Guys, I tried to get Shannon to kind of get into the nitty gritty of the politics, but he's clearly a very good politician in the making.
I think it's irresponsible. To take a side needlessly. Why should I take a side needlessly? See what I'm saying? It's like,
well, the truth is, it's good because it'll get you. I'm sorry, you were speaking. Go ahead.
No, I'm just. I'm like very pro like solutions, very pro like cohesion, very pro like collaboration. You know what I'm saying? So I inherently am against, or tend to be against, things that cause people to feel separate. To be perfectly honest, all of the 20 years ago, our country was in. I think there was a lot of political apathy 20 years ago, but at the same time, there wasn't all this animosity that we see nowadays. And
you are so smart. Those two words, and I love the alliteration. We were politically apathetic 20 years ago, 25 years ago, and now we've gone to the complete opposite spectrum of political animosity. From apathy to animosity. Fascinating. You really summarized it.
What do I care about other people's political points of view? I care about, can we get along? Can we help each other? It doesn't matter what our differences are. What's more important is what the things that we share in common. And
well, don't you feel? I mean, looking at Jamie's comment, Jamie says 20. She goes, "Bring on the politics. I'll start." I love it. 20 years ago, you didn't know who was on what side unless it came up. And I kind of, in some degrees, I agree with Jamie that 20 years ago, 25 years ago, we only had a couple of news outlets. We didn't have the internet, at least at the level that we did today. We didn't have.
You got it.
Right. And so now we do have. Let's just assume that the right is doing what the right is being reported to be doing, and the left is doing what the left is reported to be doing. Maybe there, as Jamie's saying, maybe there is cause for animosity because now the curtain's been pulled back, and it's kind of hard not to, like 25 years ago, if you were a Republican or a Democrat, we still agreed on 80% of the things about what America stands for. And I feel today Republicans and Democrats have very different ideas about what America is. Do you disagree?
I feel this is what I feel. I feel like politicians and people who want to manipulate us have caused us to set against ourselves needlessly. I don't see any reason why we can't go back to how things were 20 years ago and understand that there's probably not a lot of reason to get polarized. Probably not.
So
I mean,
maybe, so if I'm summarizing what you're saying, maybe the people who are at fault are these politicians who now have access to X and soapboxes. 25 years ago, we didn't know the names of any politicians.
my point is, who benefits from chaos? Who benefits from chaos? The
A
power
lot, I
brokers.
would say a lot of people.
I don't see a big distinction, frankly, in the if you want to analyze the situation. I don't see a big distinction between the leaders on the right and the leaders on the left. They're both benefiting from the chaos that's been created.
Mhm.
They're manipulating us, we people in the middle.
So beyond the fact that many of these politicians are making money through insider trading, and I 100% believe that, Republicans and Democrats, how else are they benefiting from the chaos?
I don't know all the ways they're benefiting from the chaos, but I know if you create, look at this is how you get power. Okay, you create a gradient. Okay, you create a gradient. You have some people that have something and other people that don't have something,
So
and you have
mustaches and those who don't have mustaches, for
exactly.
example.
Okay,
Okay.
exactly. Okay, and then what you do is you you have potential energy. You know, if you look at physics, what's potential energy? It's the ability, or it's a situation that causes that deals with a gradient, if you will. Okay, so if the people that don't have, if the people don't have whatever it is that they don't have, want it, they're going to have to go do something about it, which causes them to move about and do things. Okay, and that's good for the economy because not like I'm not saying like in a good way. I mean like in an analytical way. If you cause people to not have something, then they're going to go and do something to get that, and that's going to create economic activity. And frankly, what are we all about? We're all about the economy.
Mm-hmm.
So when you create these differences between people, you're creating economic opportunity that then those people who benefit from that, the people who exploit us, utilize. Okay, it's divide and conquer in a sense. It's a little more complicated than that. But so you know, I'm not really moved one way or another. I'm not going to uh, treat people differently just because it's politically in fashion. Okay, it's not
You
happening.
remind me in a positive way of how what's Fetterman's first name? John Fetterman.
John, I think John
John
maybe.
Fetterman has been going on these talk shows and basically saying what you're saying. He's saying, "Look, I'm gonna be like, why did you meet with Donald Trump?" He said, "Because if I can find common ground with him and help the people of Pennsylvania by working with him, I would be betraying the trust of everybody in Pennsylvania because my job is to represent everybody and try to facilitate positive improvements." And everyone's been complimenting John Fetterman for what he's been saying because he's a Democrat. But the truth is, and I know I got into this, not an argument, just a point. This woman going, "I'm so proud that Donald Trump is my president," and I said, "Stop with this nonsense. He's not your president. He's the president of the United
He's our
States,
president.
and anybody who is an American, you must accept him as your president because you're an American. Just like Joe Biden was my president. I didn't vote for him, but he's the guy that got elected, rightly or wrongly. We can argue all that, but he was the president.
Our president.
And I feel like that creates the polarity too, unnecessarily. Well, I didn't vote for him. He's not my president. Can we be Americans first? And I wanted Joe
Can we be
Biden.
humans?
Humans first. Now that's a concept. Now again, I don't want there to be mustaches and has mustaches and do not have mustaches. I tried it and I just it itches me too much, Shannon. I'm not. I am not Delta Force enough to rock a mustache. Jamie says I won't treat people differently on a personal level, but I'm still pumped about 90% of the executive orders. Here. Yeah.
I guess, Monroe, my answer to all this is I'll tell you in 4 years.
And you know what? Honestly, that is a very logical, rational answer. And I think that's giving him the benefit of the doubt and being an American, supporting whoever did win the presidency and saying, let's hope that he does a good job for the country. I hope the same thing too. I hope that the power does not get to his head. I hope that he does not fall into mental decline as Biden. I hope that they require mental cognitive tests of everyone who's elected to political office every 6 months. And, not just people over a certain age, because there is early onset dementia, even at the age of 45. That has been known to happen. And so, and term limits. Gosh, get these people out of office. They're killing me.
Yeah, I will say that I am in favor of an age restriction for the presidency. I think it's not safe to at a certain point you need to have a cutoff.
I don't think the age is the issue. I think it's just over a certain age you need to have, or if you are in, because I have no problem with Joe Biden being as old. My dad was a competent attorney before Alzheimer's hit in until he was 87 years old, 88. I don't think Joe Biden was even that old. I think he's 83 now.
I just think that, from what I understand, the presidency is an incredibly demanding position, and there is an age limit. You have to be what 40 years old? Is that
Come
what
on,
it is?
it's a desk job, Shannon. It's a desk job.
No, I'd like to see an amendment that says, at a certain age you have to be below a certain age, whatever that age might be. I think that's a reasonable thing to do.
But I think the problem is that there maybe then they should reduce the age as well. Maybe you could be president, but because right now I think it's 35 years old or 40 years old.
I'm pretty comfortable with the lower limit for sure. I don't want somebody who's just graduated from high school thinking that they're going to have the life experience to know how to run the country. That would be pretty alarming.
Okay.
I think it should be a pretty narrow band, frankly.
Okay, I hear you. What's up, Deegan?
Maybe 35 to 75 or something like that. I don't know.
I hear you. So, guys, just so you know, we're about an hour and 40 minutes into this. I asked Shannon to allot 2 hours, and so we're going to end this in about 3 or 4 minutes. We're going to do the members only part now, so we can get a little bit more in depth. Maybe ask some more saucy questions to Shannon that he might not share publicly, but behind the paywall, maybe he will. Jamie says, I hope everyone elected does a good job no matter what party they belong to. We still have to live here while they're in office. And I think that is an American, I was going to say that's an America first way of looking at things, but I don't want to politicize that even though it shouldn't be political. We should be about America first before we think of France or Venezuela or whatever. But as an American, our first job should be ensuring everyone elected, regardless of party, does a great job for America. And I hope I'm glad Fetterman is meeting with Trump. If those two guys can work together, then fantastic. Let me see, are there any other comments? Carter Strong saying study hall. Carter, I'll start the study hall later tonight. I usually don't do the study halls until I'm ready to go to bed. So it'll probably be around 10 or 11 p.m. tonight. Shannon, what are your final words on a couple of topics? One is give us some words of wisdom from your many years as a father, soldier, fireman, first responder, and veterans' rights advocate. What is something that we can take away that maybe we can improve our lives? And number two, tell us more about, again, just a summary of what you're trying to do through your fundraiser, and tell us more about the website and where. Well, I'm going to remind people about the website, but just tell us more about what you're trying to do. So some wisdom and then a summary.
Okay, so the wisdom, I guess, would be keep in mind, I guess the lesson of today is, life's short, make the most of it. Don't waste your time. figure out what your priorities are and go after them, because you never know how much time you have left, right?
100%.
And then the other thing is, as far as my situation, I'm looking to become a veterans rights advocate, experience some workplace discrimination based on my military service at work. I have a site up. I'm trying to get donations for it so that I can continue to fight my court case. And that my longer term goals with that is to start a nonprofit that will help what I call Group 4 veterans, those veterans who have to face workplace discrimination or other forms of discrimination on their own. And I mean, who has the funds to pay for a lawsuit? Who has the ability to, get all that money together? Yet veterans sometimes find themselves in the situations that they can't avoid, where they're being discriminated against because of their service, and they have to either decide to give up a job or to take some sort of legal action. And what choices do you have? My father lost a job. He left a job back in the 70s after he came back from Vietnam because they didn't like the fact that he was still in the reserves, and he gave up a good job because of that discrimination. This is 2025. We should not have this going on in this country at this point.
Well said. Remember, you can find more information about his fundraiser at it's a fundraising website for veterans and first responders. It's called Fund the First, FIRST, Fund the First. Go to fundthefirst.com and then search for Workplace Justice for Veterans. Workplace Justice for Veterans. I will be putting the link in the description of this video sometime later tonight or tomorrow. I'll also do a post about it on my channel, so you guys can get that link. Anything that you can do to help him with his legal fight to avoid this discrimination would, of course, be a good thing you could do to help a veteran. And by the way, Angel said, if everyone's new here, please don't be a stranger here. We're all family. That is the truth. Thanks for subscribing. Thank you for clicking like. Turn on the bell for all notifications. The various things I do on this channel are guest interviews, as you see right now, with friends, with strangers, with very interesting people all. I do my music. I do cover songs. I do cover song concerts. I do original music concerts. Do comedy with improv characters. Billy Bob from Louisiana. We do Rocco Tribbiani from New York. We do Timothy Hilford from England. Kino Surf from Hawaii. All that and lots and lots more. We do Rose Reads, where I share insight that I've learned from books that I've read and talk about psychology, law. And pretty soon, I'm sure Shannon's going to have a YouTube channel for workplace justice. He does have one now, right? It's called Workplace Justice for Veterans.
Yeah, but there's nothing there yet. I gotta get on that.
He's got a grand total of 0 subscribers. 0 subscribers. That's how many subscribers he has. If you want to follow him, just search for Workplace Justice for Veterans. You may or may not be able to find it because channels with no subscribers are notoriously hard to find on YouTube as they get more subscribers.
We will get on that, though. We will get on that.
Yeah, we'll get on that. And guys, if you're a member, see you here in about 2 minutes. We'll talk with Shannon for another 20 minutes. If you're not a member, here's a great opportunity to join, so you get to talk and learn more from this guy, Shannon. It's youtube.com/Monroe Mann/join. That's youtube.com/MonroeMann/JOIN. See you guys. We'll see you guys in 2 minutes.